I just want to say I'm really grateful for this opportunity. I'm learning so much already, especially Gloria, when you mentioned indigenous methods and putting that into your methodology, I just thought it was so beautiful. And so I want to just thank all of you, first of all. And okay. So growing up gay in Singapore was a very interesting experience. I get asked a lot, so how was it, like growing up in a country where, two consensual gay adult males could be thrown to jail if they had sex. I always share this one fascinating experience. So when you turn 18 in Singapore, all Singaporean males will have to enter into 2 years of mandatory conscription. So that's me in my army uniform. So there's a system, put in place to determine where they send you, where they put you. And so you have to go through a series of tests and then finally a medical exam. So at the very end of the medical examination, the doctor will actually sit you down and ask you a series of questions. At the very end of it, the last question would always be, is there anything you want to declare? And so, that is the moment where you kind of know, okay, as a gay person, I have to make this decision. Am I going to come clean with him or am I not? It was one of I have to say that's one of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had, because walking into that room, I had no idea what I was going to say. If you say no, then they'll put you together with the heterosexual soldiers and you do heterosexual things. But then if you say that you're gay, then they put you in music and dance company. Because all gay people, they just love to dance and sing all the time and can't do anything else. So then it was a moment where I was really struggling with it. And at that point in time, I was like, you know what, I'm going to say no. Because I know the repercussions. So what they do is, the doctors have this form. If you say that you're gay, pick it up. Next to mental disorders, they mark homosexuality. There's a tick next to homosexuality. And based on how effeminate you are, there are 3 different ratings. Very effeminate, somewhat effeminate, not effeminate. And if you get effeminate, then obviously you get sent to certain units. And so, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think that's extremely problematic. And so last summer, I had a conversation with a friend. He's a military scholar, currently doing his master's in social policy in the UK. He lived in Toronto for 4 years doing his undergrad, and now he's in the UK. So he's lived in pretty liberal societies. And I was talking to him about this experience that I had. And I was wanting to hear what he feels about it, because he is going back to Singapore next year and he's going to be working for the Minister of Defense. So he has the power to influence policy changes in Singapore. And what he said was, spending time in Toronto and UK, I've gained exposure to LGBT issues and more gay friends and all. But I don't really know how I feel, I feel more accepting, but I don't know how that's going to impact my career. And so, as a gay person, that's all I think about. I might potentially make a career out of this, But, for our straight counterparts, I don't really know how their attitudes have changed, leaving Singapore, a place that's very oppressive, coming to Vancouver, a place that's kind of liberal. So I turned to the people that I know best. So 100 heterosexual Singaporean students. So for my honors thesis, I issued 100 online surveys, and followed up with 12 respondents, so 12 semi-structured qualitative interviews. And this is what I found. So 74% of the respondents registered an increased acceptance towards same-sex morals, so gay morals, gay values, and they cited both social and environmental factors. So for example, having attended a gay parade, that the UBC campus is generally quite liberal and diverse, have meeting more gay people in Vancouver and UBC. So those kind of exposure have made them more accepting. The longer they live in Vancouver, the more accepting they become, which makes sense. The most fascinating thing for me was that they don't just keep their own perceptions here. They transmit these new ideas back to Singapore, so back to where they come from, as social remittances. And so every Skype session, every phone call, every trip they take back to Singapore, they share these ideas with people. And the communities back home are actually becoming more accepting towards gay people and gay morals. So that, I think that is a very fascinating thing, because it almost lays down the groundwork for transnational activism. Because people don't just uproot and migrate to a place and just like peace out and down with Singapore. There's constant back and forth communication. People are always traveling back to that's why international students are true transnational migrants. And so I think the implications for other disciplines are pretty significant. Other than sociology, I think law, legal studies, public policy, human geography, could really benefit from a research like this. This is the question that I have that I kind of want to, put it out there. So, how does Singaporean academics publishing abroad affect policy changes in Singapore? What are some of the challenges? So, this is kind of like something that I've been thinking about a lot because, when I pursue graduate studies, what I really want to do is to affect social change back in Singapore. But I'm not going back to Singapore to do this, to engage in community work or anything like that. I just hope to publish, but what kind of tangible social change would my publications affect? And yeah, that's all I have for today.